This is the new third-generation Toyota Prius, the hybrid car that combines a petrol engine and electric motor to lower emissions. Prices start at just over 18,000 quid, and as usual, I've got three deeply important tests to carry out to see if it's clever or useless. Test 1, cheap trips. In the UK, 40% of all journeys are under 2 miles long. So I'm going to see if the Prius can do that running on just electrical power. Effectively then, a free ride. The old Prius could only manage a couple of 100 metres running on a bit of AC/DC, but this, the new Mark III model, has got a more powerful battery, which means, in theory, as long as I don't drive above 31 miles an hour, it'll do about 1.6 miles, just on electricity. I'm running on just electricity right now, and because I'm coasting up to a junction and feathering the brake, I'm actually charging the battery as I go. It uses a similar system for regeneration as the Formula One cars do. Unfortunately, it's not as fast as a Formula One car, or as good. 1 mile, just on electric power. The only thing breaking my silence are a few people swearing at me, because I'm driving so slowly. 1.7 miles, there you go. The Prius can drive just on electricity for 1.7 miles. Impressive. Prius, 1. Test 2, which I'm going to call dust to dust. Now, the Prius may average 72.4 mpg, but critics have always said that the toxic batteries make this type of car a dirtier thing to produce and to scrap than a normal car. Well, don't be so sure. The high-tech factory in Japan where the Prius is made runs on 50% solar power. They even have light bulb patrols to make sure that no electricity is wasted. And the factory is covered in a special paint that releases oxygen into the atmosphere. They've also developed a way of recycling the batteries at the end of their life. About 95% of the metals used can be recovered in some sort of emissions-free way. So is the Prius a properly green car? The scales say yes. Test number 3, performance and agility. Sooner or later, you're going to find yourself late for a Friends of the Wind Farm convention. So, can the Prius get a move on? For starters, by pressing the power button, it gives you a more aggressive throttle response. The 1.8 engine is 98 horsepower, but when it's combined with the electric motor, that gives you 134 horsepower. It'll crack 0 to 60 in 10.4, which is respectable. I have to say, its road manners are very impressive. The steering's pretty direct, the road holding's very good, and crucially, it's comfortable and pretty quiet. So, test 3, performance and handling. I think it's a pass. No question, the Prius has evolved. For the first time, owning a hybrid doesn't mean making a choice between driver enjoyment and saving the planet. There is one issue I do have, though. Aesthetics. It still looks like a steam iron. Therefore, 7 out of 10.
Tom, do you know what does my head in about the Prius?
It's ugly.
Well, there is that, but also VW are bringing out their new Polo Blue Motion,
Yeah.
and that just happens to emit less CO2 than a Prius, and it's a diesel.
Yeah, there's one problem with the Polo, though.
What?
It looks too much like a normal car.
Yeah.
You know, if you buy a Toyota Prius, it looks like a hybrid. So everybody knows that you've got your green credentials on display. You are doing good for the environment and the world at large.
That is a good point. So I guess the best thing to do, though, is to have a Prius on the drive so all the neighbours can see it, but then behind it in the garage you've secretly got 3 Hummers.
Yeah, that's my kind of logic.